Hello and welcome back to our Surrounded Challenge Norland series. And if you are new to this channel, then the rules for this challenge are down in the description. But of course I do strongly recommend checking out the previous videos. And with that, let's get back into it. So, in the last episode, well, we pretty much got our medical salve. Where is that? Medical salves are now being produced. And right now, it says 39%. We already have 4 of them here. So that's looking pretty good. At the same time, we also gained a good amount of peasants. I think we gained maybe a total of about 3 between the last episode and now. And of course, we've got a good amount of warriors, some prisoners that we can sell when we have the trader here to do that. But basically, what's going to be going on in this episode is a lot of waiting while we try to get a good amount of wood, so that we can start to rearrange what's going on up here. I basically want to shift all of this up top over, and shift all this over as well, and so that we can have a little more efficient road going right here. And then I did talk about moving the temple. The temple would go over here. The altar would go right here. This library would go right here, and then we would create a new chancellery right here. So we would have 2 of them. But I am kind of rethinking this chancellery. I'm actually thinking that the second chancellery might be better off over here. But either way, we will just kind of have to think about it a little bit more. That is kind of what I'm thinking so far. So with that out of the way, we basically do have some waiting to do. And I'm also, of course, going to be having Hadolf spend time with our wife, and as well with Amrar. Now, it looks like a prisoner is trying to escape, actually. Oh, he's... Okay, he is using a mace. That is good. Shouldn't kill this guy. Oh, he's actually got some pretty substantial looking injuries here. Oh, okay, he's surrendered. Alright, so he won't die at least. Alright, so yeah, I will let you know if there is anything new. Okay, so as you can see here, our barracks needs iron. Luckily, we do have the trader. I actually did not realize the trader was here when I was looking at that, but that is good news. Now, Trimalek is actually here, and this is another one of these unique guests. It looks like he's a bard. Am I correct on that? He can do songs, so I have to assume that he is probably a bard. We will see if there's anything interesting we can do there. Now, Sia is here, and she is only really good at management. She is also decent at trade. But I think we're okay with Amrar on trade. He's got an 11 trade skill. I feel like he's actually leveled that up several times in the last couple of episodes here. And then, anyways, so we need iron for the barracks. We also need iron for the training grounds. So we may try to make that work. But of course, we need Amrar to get over to the trader so we can also ship off these prisoners. That's the first thing we're going to do. That pays for our tax, gives us another 185 as well. Of course, we are going to need some books as well. Wow, look at that. 31 each. We get 29 from our trade route. So we're probably going to sell these here. We'll sell... Well, we can sell all of them. We'll sell all those daggers. We don't need these bows either. Oh, we're kind of maxed out here. Okay, so we will buy all those rings. We'll buy the iron. We'll buy probably a couple more maces, and we'll sell these bows. And then, let's see. I think that's... I mean, we could buy the paper just to stock it for trade routes. We might go ahead and do that. Now we're going to look for any kind of major upgrades that we can do on knowledge. Longevity might be nice. Amrower is 41. I don't know if this will actually help them now. Because I mean, Elsa's already, of course, seeing the effects of aging, considering that she's gray-haired. Wearing armor. Do not receive penalties for wearing heavy and light armor. Yes, that is definitely one that could be pretty good. But I think, honestly, I want this military logistics. We just want to be able to really just move along the map more quickly. Pig farm could be nice, but I don't think we're ready for it. Doubles the impact of positive thoughts during trade. Yeah, I don't think that's too necessary. The other nice one might actually be paper workshop. And in fact, I think that's probably going to be more important. Yes, okay. Because if we can get this going, then we basically just need wood, and we can just create an endless supply of paper, which gives us as many trade routes as, you know, to our heart's content, basically. And I think that would be quite good. Now, look at all this rye. Wow, it just keeps stacking up no matter what I do. And I think the main reason for that is because of hops. Because if we could create our own beer and create a substantial amount, we could start selling that as well. But either way, this is pretty much what we can do for the moment. So what we're going to do, we'll stick... man, should we have Lyra maybe? Because she's going to be the better option as we start aging. That does seem like a good idea to me. Now, we could just kind of have... okay, so... that's the only other book that we have. Of course, we did just finish that, so no more droughts. That's good. Medical salve is finished. Free lord waiting to be hired. Yeah, we don't want Zia. Alright, so we can pretty much cancel all of this. And let's see what this is. The minstrel will perform a song about how Mother Sophia punished a sinner, and he, having found faith, was cleaned of his sins, after which a miracle was revealed. 10 listeners will become religious fanatics for 50 gold. This one is 10 listeners will receive a positive thought. This one is 5 listeners will become loyalists. Ooh. 5 vagabonds or cutthroats will decide to return to the honest life of a peasant. That, let's say. Would that be worth it? I feel like it might be. Or cutthroats. We don't have a cutthroat, but we do have the vagabond. So I don't think that will actually count for our warrior. I think it's just talking about criminals. So we're going to do the listeners. Or loyalists, rather. It doesn't look like there's any difference there. We'll do that. That actually sounds like a good idea. Okay, and so here he is, waiting for his listeners. And this is going to create some loyalists for us, so I think this should be pretty good, because I think they're always happy, if I remember right. So loyalists, they can't be bribed or tempted. The productivity is 30% higher. They can't become vagabonds. Only room for 1 idol, so they cannot become fanatics. I'll go ahead and scroll out so it's not so loud. Loyalist peasants aspire to serve in the king's army, which, if I'm reading this correctly, I think it means specifically in the king's army, and we don't use Amrower for that, so I don't think that this part actually is going to matter. If they're unhappy, they may lose this quality, and if there are many unhappy, they may start a riot. They will mourn when their beloved king passes away. Okay. So they will be more productive, and I think that's the biggest difference here. Now we also have the scaffolding. I don't think this is super important yet. It's good to have, but I don't think I'm too worried about it yet. Now we do have 500 gold as well. So that's looking pretty good. Unfortunately, we only really got enough for the barracks. We need to be careful and not actually... So we're going to pause the construction on the trading ground, just so they don't try to use the iron up on that. Alright. So we have actually 4 loyalists instead of 5. Well, that's okay. That's decent. We have a lot of fanatics, unfortunately. But, that seems to be it for the moment. Okay, so what I think we're going to do is, before this gets any bigger, there's 7, bandits here at this camp. We're going to try to take care of it. And we'll send Unetra, of course, with Elsa. And I think we should have plenty of maces for everybody. Now, of course, this is super annoying. I do think in the next episode we will be moved back over to the main branch so that this stops happening. Wow, wow, that's, but you can just go back over here. Okay, 65%, so honestly, that's probably a very, very easy win with absolutely no losses at all, but we shall see. Alright, so while we wait for our army to head over to that camp, I was actually taking a look here at Stardale. Oh, wow, look at that. 45. So I don't know what it is about... These are Varns, and in our last series, we actually had a Varn kingdom that was based out of Crystallite here. And they had a massive army, and they were taking over, like, the entire map. I may eventually go back to that save and just try to figure out what that kingdom can actually do. I thought it was super cool, though. They had basically a full empire's worth of cities under their direct control. So that was pretty cool. But yes, as you can see, it's kind of seeming like it may happen again in this series. So I don't know what it is about Varn and AI, but they seem to absolutely dominate. I don't remember this happening in the earlier parts of the game, but then again, maybe I just missed it. Okay, and so here we are. Wow, and it looks like those chances maybe even went up a little tiny bit. And I don't think this is going to be any issue whatsoever. Alright, let's get in there. I don't even know. We might just do stay in the back for Unetra. I don't even see her name. Is she's in here, right? That's her? Yeah. Unetra's just standing there, watching menacingly. Yeah, there we go. And we got 4 captured, 3 dead. That will do nicely for us. Now, unfortunately, we lost our trade routes, and as you can see, they have moved on to wanting spears. They will still sell us herbs, but it's not really too useful for us. So we may end up just moving over to this and taking their iron and also giving them flour. That will actually be a pretty good trade route for us. However, we really want to find somebody else who has or who wants medical salves, so it may be time shortly to figure out what to do to maybe expand our diplomatic range. We may try to force neutrality for Moonlake here, and I think if that happens, Stardale will also lose Starstream. But the issue, of course, is then we would have to contend with this massive army, potentially. So we may trade with them for a while first, and just try to build up our own forces, and then we'll try to worry about it. Alright, so we are back in the city, and as you can see, we have plenty of unemployed people actually right now. Now, looking at things, doesn't look like we can do anything, of course, with the mills. Is there any extra workers that are going to be taken up with anything that we're building just on these fields, it looks like, so that should actually be okay. We're gonna set, let's say, we don't need this to be built first. They built the barracks, luckily, which is good. We were starting to have some issues with our warriors sleeping on the ground and everything. So I think what we need to do, we just need to focus on this hop field. Yes. That seems good. Now, on the other hand, Cormon is 17. He's getting real close to being able to be quite a useful asset for us. I'm not sure how we're going to use him yet. He is good at management. So we may just have him maybe maybe manage everything over here to try to level him up. And then once he is good enough, maybe we'll have him run the other chancellery that we're planning to build. So I don't know for sure, but I think that seems like a good plan to me so far. Alright, so I was just having Elsa spend time with Hadolf, and he was doing something over here with, what's this guy's name? Trudeau Liuba. I think they were doing, it doesn't actually say on their mood or anything, but I think they were trying to seduce each other, actually. Did they get that off? I don't think, maybe they did? What a bad bishop there. And of course he doesn't seem to have any negative feeling about that, so maybe he didn't complete the sin, because I did have him go spend time with Elsa, but I just thought that was kind of hilarious. Okay, and a little update here on the Stardale development, and apparently Windpeak has become a vassal. Now, that must mean that all of these are macaw, or maybe it was these two, I really do not remember. However, I will probably just put the image there on the screen for you guys, because I did actually save it. And I'll take a look here real quick myself as well. So looking at it, it seems to me, yes, so Wind Peak, Silverhaven, and Dust Valley were all macaw, and they were in one alliance. That's these three. And that alliance was headed by Wind Peak. So it must have been completely dissolved, and that's why these guys are all independent now, actually. And Wind Peak is now a part of the Stardale Alliance. And, well, it's not something I can really make a big comment on, but we could maybe leverage the fact that they are selling wood, perhaps. On the other hand, it may just be good to try to bring them over to our own alliance. I don't know how exactly I plan to do that yet. Whether we'll try to go with Moonlake first, or is it possible, since we're not directly bordered, we probably can't. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do any direct vassalization unless we take Moonlake first. But we shall see. It's looking interesting, at least. Now, on another note, wow, so they have moved over to buying light armor. That's not too helpful for us. We don't really have anything to sell at this point, except maybe bows we could maybe try to get over to, but it's not looking great for us there. Now, we are just waiting for this workday to end, and then hopefully they will bring the wood over to the warehouses. Should be just a few minutes here now. There we go. Please bring the wood over to the warehouses, people. Okay, they have. Alright, so we're going to start right away. We're going to move this over first. It can be as far over as it can go. Same thing here. As far over as we can make it go. We're just going to do that with all of these. There we go. And then we are going to move the alchemy lab. Probably doesn't need to go over all the way. Maybe like that. That seems good to me. And then move this. Move. Should we maybe have swapped these two, actually? Oh, well, I don't think it's too big of a deal. It might be good. We don't even have anything being used with the workshop right now. We're not producing anything there. We could maybe start trying to produce tools, but we just don't have the iron, of course. It could maybe we just make some coal, because that might even be sellable. We might be able to sell coal. but we don't really have extra wood yet, so that might have to wait until the next episode. So we'll just go ahead, fix up these roads. A little bit too much road. Alright. And I don't really like how I just did that. Let's just do... This is fine. Alright, and we're gonna move this as well. Wasn't going to, but it's not really necessary to have it all the way out there. So we're just gonna move that slightly. And that looks about good. It's really not as nice looking as I was hoping, but it is still better than I think it was before. At least on the efficiency front. And I think maybe we might be able to put one more brewery right there. No, never mind. Okay, so that's about what we can do there. Now, we want to move this altar, and we'll just move it up here, like we were planning. And we can move the temple. Can we move it here? We can't. What about the library? I don't know if I like the library there, though. We could just move... We could move the tavern instead. Move that over here. Maybe? Let's see. Or we really just need it to be out of the way so we can make the temple here. And then we could move... Let's see. So put this here. And then we'll put the library over here. Like that, probably. And then we may even have enough room for another lord house here at some point. No, maybe not. Alright, and then this will be for the chancellery. Okay, so that does now fit there. Alright. And we'll just make a little road right here. Again, not the absolute best looking, but it really isn't too bad either. Now I think service, chancellery going right here. We can go ahead and just place it now. And now we will have a nice perfect road going right there. And we may even make another road going right there just to make it even easier for them to get between the library and their houses, but not super important at the moment. Now we are here at the trader, and we are going to go ahead, sell these bows. We do again have medical salves, that's nice. Wow, paper is unfortunately super high priced now. We'll buy the iron. Not too much else to do except for, of course, selling off the prisoners. We don't need the scaffolding book now. We don't need the fighting drought book either. Do we have enough? We have enough maces. We could probably buy a few tools then. 5? I'm thinking 5. Actually, we can buy a few more even. We'll go with 10. And even a couple more rings. Yes, okay. And that still leaves us with about 600. So if we want to buy another book, we can do that as well. Let's see. Maybe even something like flavorful ale. If I remember right, that's going to be, yes. Okay, so we can just produce in the standard brewery. For herbs and hops, so that does seem like it could be a good idea. Or we could go with the armor forge, and then we would be able to make shields, light armor, which is only 1 wood and 1 tool, and shields are 1 iron and 1 tool. That might be a good idea as well, because if we can even eventually get up to heavy armor, then we will only need maybe a couple of soldiers at a time to go and completely take out entire bandit camps with absolutely no issue. And on the other hand, we could even try to go for something like peasant houses, which is something that helps you to create loyalists. Of course, it's 2 peasants for a single house. And they're like, I think they're probably about the lord house size. Not necessarily the best use of space. So since I can't really totally decide right now, I'm thinking that none of this is too terribly important. And we may, let's say, seems like we can just skip straight to the military logistics too, but do we have somebody with 13 intelligence? I don't think we do. I do not think we do. No. Okay, so we can't actually do that yet. So we'll just take this one. 200. Is that okay? That seems okay. And I think that is probably where we're going to call it for the day. Iska is waiting to be hired. She's actually a good commander. But we don't really need that. Philota. We can trade with you. Let's see what you got. Oh, books. Okay. All very good ones. Okay, so was it the Varn language I was considering learning? If so, this would have been a good time to pick it up. Yeah, I was gonna have Cormon, I think, learn the Varn language. It's 300 gold, though. We're gonna have to pass for right now, I think. Unfortunately. Any other time and I would have been able to do that, but right now, unfortunately, it's not gonna work. So, okay, not necessarily the most productive, maybe visually, but as you can see, we are still doing really good on the rye. Once we, I think, get, well, we're probably going to need another mill. That's kind of the thought here, is we're going to need, let's say, 2, 4, 5, and we're still barely making it. We're probably going to need 2 more mills, and then we can probably start finally burning through that rye, and we can start selling flour, potentially, if anybody decides to buy it. And at the same time, I'm not totally sure what my immediate goal for the iron is. It's probably to make the training ground, but I haven't completely decided on that yet. And otherwise, yeah, we're just kind of stacking resources, trying to stack a little bit of extra gold before we improve our army. Is there actually anybody we can hire right now? Nobody that we want to hire. So once we start to increase our warriors in the training ground, we will be doing very, very well against bandits and the like. But I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.